Welcome back to Balance Basketball Academy, and if you guys have been keeping track, this is part 4 of 5 of our series. We're getting into the players to watch this NBA season, and now we have the post players tier. Oh yeah, these are people that I think are really, really fun to watch, and it's a bit of a dying breed in the NBA, but that doesn't mean that around the world there aren't post players who need other players to watch, to study film for. And that's why I'm here, guys. I'm here for the people. Let's get into the film session, starting now. So the first guy that we're going to talk about is somebody I'm quickly becoming a fan of. This is Alperen Sengun. If I pronounced that incorrectly, I'm really sorry. No disrespect. I really think that this guy is one of the kind of last guard as far as people who play very traditional post play and who have excellent footwork, and it's something that, should be that post players are still doing instead of just shooting threes. It's not that shooting threes as a post player is bad, but just shooting threes is not what I'm recommending. So, Sengun is a really great avenue, and I want to take a look at his footwork real quick. Let's do it. You're going to notice that post players, their goal is to get their foot outside of yours if you're the defender. So if you're the defender, and I'm the offensive player, my goal is to get my feet outside of yours so I can get an angle to spin or to, use my body to get an angle to the bucket. That's what he does right here for this shot. You'll take a look. He has his feet around Porzingis's right now, meaning that he has an angle. Porzingis's foot is split right down the middle, so Sengun is able to spin and have a little bit of daylight even as Porzingis slides. That's a really key thing to do when you're doing some kind of turnaround fadeaway or some kind of spin move in general, is get your feet outside of him, and then make the move from there. It typically means that there's some daylight. Yep, another spin right there. Spin moves for post players are like super major. One of the best things that you can do as a post player is be able to utilize a proper spin move into a hook or into some kind of finish. Right here, he gets, I think that's lively? I don't know. Yeah, one way, and is able to fake slightly and then go the other way. That's really great stuff. Again, a lot of times the best of post players, you don't need a lot of very complicated moves. It's more a matter of how you can sell with your shoulders and your feet. Actually, let me reword that. It is more important what you can do with your shoulders and what your opponent doesn't notice about your feet. That is important about post players, because they will be looking up top, where your feet are actually where stuff's happening, and we're going to get more advantages by getting outside of other people's feet and using your spin move that way. And I know a lot of people feel some type of way about Joel Embiid. He's still a really excellent post player and somebody who's very, very good at his job. When he does decide to play in the post, he is basically unstoppable, but he also happens to have a perimeter game that he sometimes relies on too much. That said, when he is in the post, he is really, really difficult to deal with and someone to watch. So one thing that I really want to point out with Joel Embiid, because he does a lot of things really well as a post player, is his ability to establish himself in the post-up, especially when he has a mismatch, which most of the time he does have a mismatch because he's just, again, a lot bigger than most players. So right here you can see that he just gets that really deep post position and gets his hands up and ready for the ball, and that makes really all the difference. Using your body, using your position, like getting into good post position and getting yourself into the paint or deep, get your defensive player in a really dangerous position early, and you can get easy buckets to start the play before people are even set to go. So look at him right here. Immediately gets into the post, works that position, and Siakam can't even really do anything about it. This is in a semi-transition play right here, starting now. You can see that people are running back. It's not transition, semi-transition, but Embiid recognizes my defender's on me. Harden's got the ball. I am going to get in post position fast, and gets himself a really easy bucket. You can do a lot of your work early and keep yourself from, being posted up way out into the mid-range area if you just get to your player early, right? Post up, push them deep into the paint, get the ball there, and then you're like a dribble at most, if not even that. You can just go up and shoot because you're already there. Life gets harder the further you are away from the paint, and if you just start within the paint and you have a good point guard, your life gets easier. So that's a really good example there. So I mentioned post players also shooting threes. I think that that is important in today's game, and that post players should be able to pick and pop as well as pick and roll. And pick and pop normally involves, you know, there being some kind of drop coverage and you having the ability to roll into the three-point line or into some kind of jump shot. And I think that that's really important. I think one of the best examples of that is the two-man game that Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns have, and the way that Cat becomes a three-point threat just based on drop coverage and by utilizing his ability to shoot deeper against posts that are typically not used to chilling out around the perimeter. So let's take a look at that. All right, so here's a decent example of that real quick right here. Karl Anthony Towns is initially rolling, but he recognizes that the drop coverage is following Brunson, and he decides to linger right around the free throw line. When Brunson passes it out, he backs up because, well, 3 points are worth more than 2, and gets into that shot. Why? Because he's practiced it before. But by him lingering back, he doesn't actually clog the paint nearly as much because Brunson is attacking. So here, another example, gets that pop, boom. Because while he misses that shot, the post defender is in no man's land over here, and Cat is over here. Now we have Josh Hart chilling here, and there's one man guarding 2 defenders. It's not going to really go very well when you have 2 offensive players in Hart and Anthony Towns who are going to be able to shoot the 3. So the next best player right there, Hart cuts, which is actually a really smart play, drawing his defender back, giving Karl Anthony Towns all the time in the world for his defender to return from no man's land, but far too late to actually shoot this, or actually contest. And yes, he misses the shot, but that is a really, really good play. Those are the post players I have going forward. Again, God willing, I'm hoping that all of them are healthy so we can watch many games of them throughout the season, but regardless, I think that they bring a lot to the table with their play styles that I think is something to highlight for sure. Now, if you have made it this far, like and subscribe, maybe comment. I don't know. I don't make the rules. You guys can do whatever you want. It's a free YouTube out there, so enjoy that. But regardless, guys, thank you for making it this far, and I'll see you in part 5 of this video series. Goodbye.